There we are. Welcome everyone. Whoops, I need to change the title. That's not true anymore. We are kit bashing 79 GM high grade. There we go. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Double Dash. So we're going to go ahead and assemble a high grade GM. Oh, I forgot I will need a couple of things here. 1 second. I'll be back in a few secs, so let's go ahead and do a word from the sponsors.
There's a road that lies under northern skies toward the land of the midnight sun. It crosses the crest of the great Northwest, and it's known as the Alcan Run.
That was quicker than I thought. All right, so assembling a GM. This should be pretty quick because we only have a few sheets here. This will be part of a nice big diorama I'm going to work on. Oh, that's interesting. Folds out like this. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our high grade here. Shuffle some stuff around a little bit. I think I'm going to go ahead and open all of the bags. There's really no point in holding off because there are so few sheets here. There we go. A few stickers. There's a couple of stickers there, so I'll move that off to the side. Okay, so we've got A. We've got B. Imagine that. And we've got PE. So this would be pretty easy to keep track of. As we go ahead and assemble our pieces. Let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to start with, looks like some legs. Let's get to it. So we're going to start with B27, which is right down there. That's pretty easy. Oops, sandpaper. Forgot the sandpaper. It's right over here. That is some, yep, that should do fine. This is some medium grit, 150 grit sandpaper. And judging, yeah, that should be all right. We'll see. Good. All right, happy with that. There's 27. We need B25, which is very similar. Sand that down. I might get some music going here. Where's my... Don't have my music going. Okay. Worth looking at. Oh, that needs to get shaved down a bit there. All right, there's that. Then we need a couple of PC bits. PCB. PCB. And PCJ. I do like the fact that these come off pretty cleanly. All right, so B goes in like this between those two things. And then, that makes sense. J goes on the bottom there. And this goes onto that. All right. So there's the beginning of one leg. Right there. Then we're going to take B9, which definitely looks like, yep, that is the bottom of a leg. pull that off like that. There's my pod safe. There we go. Let's go with that. Hey, WebFox. Yeah, GMs are very interesting. Just pop that off. There we go. Good. And right there's 9, and then we need 7. There we go. Yeah, I want to build a little diorama of a Universal Century battle. So I'm going to assemble a bunch of stuff at this scale. Nope, that's one way of doing it. Whole sprue came off. Alright. And that can get pulled off as well. Alright. Good. Connected with a PCF in between those. That'll go. Oops, I didn't get all of that off. Okay. So this goes here. Makes sense. And then we just connect these up. All right. So there's that. Then we need an A2. Oh, A2. A2. Abema TV. Thanks, Game Escape. Abema TV. Let me just Google that real quick. TV. Huh. Cute little character there. Okay, yeah, got some things there. You should be using Chrome. Whatever. Reality show. That looks like an anime title to me. Hip Hop Abema Radio. No idea what this is. Being a special, being a gold. Some kind of channel. K-World reality show. MTV hits. Documentary. Anime 24 channel. Let's click on that. Up and down. Okay. See what happens. It's loading something over the Wi-Fi. Bound to be perfect. Maybe not. No idea what it's doing. Midnight anime. Ah, okay, there we go. There's a bunch of stuff. Wow. That looks like an old show. Oh, wow. This is Higurashi that they're trying to load. That may not be working. What is that? I'm probably not VPNing into Japan is the problem. Maybe, you know, Singapore or the Netherlands or just something bizarre. Interesting. Thanks for letting me know. I'll dig further into that. Gundam Breaker 3. What's that? I'm not familiar with that particular Gundam game. I assume it's a game. Gundam Breaker 3. Breaker. Alright, so this gets a... Oh, gotta make sure that's in there. There. And then this slides in like that. Okay, there's our leg. Good amount of movement there. Yep, good. We can do both that joint and then the upper joint moves a bit. That's cool. Now we assemble a foot, B3. It's funny how different this is. You know, how I'm so used to assembling a foot that consists of like 5 different pieces or heck more. And this is just pretty much the entire foot, like right here. Kind of funny. Okay. And then, oh, okay, there are a couple of different pieces to the foot. Fair enough. PCC. A27. A27. And A26. Pretty obvious what you got there. I'd still love to know how they number these and all their choices as to where everything goes on there. I mean, I'm sure it's a very refined science, but it does always seem kind of weird that you're always starting with like sheet number, sheet D27 as opposed to A1. Alright, so this goes here. This goes on top of that. And then this goes on that like this. Okay. This definitely feels like it would be improved with a coat of paint on the these bits. This sort of weird metallic green just doesn't quite seem right. Okay, and then B29 and B30 on either side for those odd little sort of ankle guards so common in Gundam designs. Don't know what the idea behind those are. Okay. I mean, it kind of, it makes sense if you're a knight on horseback. A Dynasty Warriors kind of game. Cool. I'm thinking of getting the Hyrule Warriors game when it comes out. Folks are saying it looks like it's pretty good. Like, it's satisfying. Never played any of the... I've never played any of the Gundam Warriors games. Might do that one of these days. Oh, nice. GB3 Asian version has English subs. Cool. So it's basically Gundam Musou. One of these days, I'd love to track down one of the Super Robot Wars games. Okay, so this goes like that. Doesn't quite make sense. Yeah, they're saying it should. We'll go in. Oh, yep, there we go. And that goes in like this. Okay, there's our little guards, front guards for those. Fair enough. Pretty cool. That's a nice little leg. That fit there? Yeah, good. Alright, move on to leg number 2. Love how quickly this is going. B26. This is, nope, that's not B. B26. And I'm betting B28. Yep. There's 26. A friend of mine showed me one of the Gundam Dynasty Warriors games back when it first came out, actually. It was a lot of fun. I owned no consoles at the time, so I didn't really have access to it, but now there's an option. That. Okay. That there. There's some stuff shaved off there. Yeah, there is actually a little Games Workshop near me. You collect parts to add to your gunplay or sell off for credit. That's cool. Love games where you can actually modify yourself, the kind of role-playing aspects of it. Although it's not really role-playing. But that sort of the computer version of role-playing mechanic. And that will add a PCB and a PCJ. There's J. There's J. And this will give us the... Oops. Ooh. Could have died. And this goes here. So we're putting our little joint there. And then this goes down as the other part of that joint. Right? And then this goes on and gets snapped in. Okay. So there's our top of the leg. And we'll do B6 and B8. B6 and B8. So these pieces here will end up being our bottom legs, which makes sense because that's exactly what they look like. I've been thinking for a while about if I were to make a computer game, what it would be. And I've been thinking I'd like to do something kind of open world-ish, just wandering around exploring. But I don't know if I want to do something. I kind of like to do something Gundam inspired. So I wonder if I could do sort of a thing where you're wandering around a colony. Maybe a small version of a colony from Gundam. That'd be interesting. It'll give you a constrained environment, but an understandably constrained environment, and you just wander around. And maybe it's a colony that's going to collapse, so you only have a certain amount of time to explore it. Would be pretty cool. PCF for that. That will plug into the top there. So we got this on here, and that there. Good. Then we connect with an A2. Yep. Dinosaur Warriors Gundam 1 to 3 on Xbox 360 and PS3 in North America. Fourth game is download only PS3. Yeah, see, that's a problem. Don't own one of those, and not really feeling like buying a PS3 just for that. But maybe. Alright, there we go. There's that. Now we'll do our foot, which is going to be a B4. Dynasty Warriors Gundam is definitely an appropriate application of the concept. I mean, it's a little silly, mowing through hundreds and hundreds of Gundams and Zakus, but darn is it fun. Actually, well, should probably be that's more Macross than Gundam. I wonder what big Gundam thing. I'm betting that we're gonna get some big Gundam thing this year. I know they announced some like Tactical Ops Gundam game, but it feels like they should be pushing Gundam War, given how prevalent it was in the Ready Player One trailer. PCC goes down here, there. Into the foot, and then top of the foot goes there, and then the bottom of the foot goes, I always get that backwards, there. Alright, and then that gets popped onto the leg, and we're going to add, again, our little shin guards. Where are those? Where are they? There they are. 31 and 32. Yeah, maybe wandering around a space colony is a more reasonable open world game concept. And I'm thinking about, you know, the whole idea of a Gundam, or maybe a ball, as what you're in. Obviously, it wouldn't be a licensed Gundam thing. That's a little silly. But something, you know, inspired by. Would be pretty cool. I'll just do a puzzle game. Something easier. Alright, there's the one side. And there's the other. We just sort of push them together. There we are. So there's our shin guard and our leg. Cool. Alright, starting on the torso with A30. Which, yep. There's a Gundam torso right there. Or a GM torso. Okay. SimCity game on a colony. That's a great idea. It's a really great idea. Because then you're, you know, trying to figure out all of your resources and all that stuff. Trying to keep the colony alive, which makes a lot more sense than your average city. Where it's like, well, people can come and go. The stakes are pretty low. And then that... Oh! Oops, PCK. Actually, we need another piece before that. Let me grab K. And then we'll shave these down, but we'll need them another minute here. I should look up some videos when, like, the pros do this. Do they take off all the pieces and then paint them and then assemble them? Or do they take off a piece, paint it, add that, you know, and do it that way? Because I can't imagine painting all this stuff ahead of time, because you lose what's what. But if you you can't paint them on the sprues, because as soon as you get them off, you're going to sand them down and it's not going to work right. So we need a few other things first. B33 and B34. B33 and 34. Yeah, I love the idea of an RTS on a colony. Especially because then it's less about war. You know, you could have warlike events, but there's just no way. You know, it's a little silly to conceive of large-scale war in a colony. We all see what happens with that at the beginning of original Gundam. Like, that's a really bad idea. What is that? Oh. Interesting. Some plastic actually gooped on one side of that. That's something I normally see in these parts. Oop, there's, that gets shaved down. Good. Alright. So we did, and then PCD to bring these together. So how does that work? So this is there. This is here. It's symmetrical. And that goes here. Okay, so we have this thing, whatever it's supposed to be. I have no idea. Some thing. It goes like that. And the back goes like how? Like that. Okay. Oh, okay, so that's just kind of the base. The waist, basically. All right. Cool. There's the beginning of our torso. Whoops. Snake. Dang it. Forgot to include the little piece. Independent colony and decide which side you want to take. I like that. I like that a lot. So that's a little... yep. So how does that go? And it goes one way. And it should have the dot in the back. Alright, so that should go... We're saying like that. And then that goes in like that. Looks like it. Okay, so there we go. There's our thing. Yep, looks right. And we need B11. Or independent faction, you're right. Could the GM take on an Imperial Star Destroyer in Star Wars? I agree, WebFox. A-Wing in Return of the Jedi says yes. As long as the shields are down. I think totally. Well, and especially, I mean, you look at the Battle of Loom, and you had single Zaku's taking out cruisers that are not dissimilarly, weaponized compared to a Star Destroyer. Musai is obviously smaller than, but has, a lot of guns and such. Not unlike a Star Destroyer. So I think it's certainly possible. Hard, but possible. Alright, so that goes on there. And then A20 and A21, little grill things. A20 and 21. Yep, those little yellow grill things. And they're saying be very careful. You get them in correctly. It's easy to orient them incorrectly. This one goes on this side. I think I'm going to do one then the other. So I know this one goes here. Yep, they even get this little registration hole. That's cool. That'll go in like that. I love it. Shave it down. So the question is, do you do an RTS that's set within the colony and is about, essentially urban planning within the colony? Or is it about managing a whole bunch of colonies? So it's kind of at the side level, if you will, as opposed to the individual colony level. And oh, now we add our little sticker here. Cool. So there's a black sticker on our torso. Just applied there. Nice. Alright, now we're going to move on to what looks like arms. Wow. That was quick. Yeah, that's basically the torso. Alright, B22 and B24, just chugging along. So it sounds like you guys are favoring something more on the side scale as opposed to the individual colony scale. Cool. It's always hard to make something where you can zoom way in to a very detailed scale and then way out to sort of a colony scale. But that's cool. And the other nice thing is you have that issue of resource management where if you do go, Xeon or independent, then suddenly, you're not going to get resources from Earth or whatever, and you have to petition Xeon for resources, which means potentially some backdoor shady deals. PCI, exclamation point. PCI. Make sure that's oriented correctly. Okay. You may have to allow Xeon to host some mobile suit research in your colony in return for food for the colonists. Alright, so that's that piece. Now we connect B19 to B17. Like these are parts of the arms. Hey, Raven. Yeah, I just kind of decided to start streaming. I didn't have a real time frame here. Ah, come on. Yeah, come on, you little... There we go. Oh, yeah. We totally see this in Double Zeta. Different governors and different things in different colonies. So maybe you set... Or maybe the game just tells you who your governor is. And what their personality is. and you have to kind of deal with that. Offer them some options and things, see how things go. It'd be fun to just kind of build up the simulation itself, and then see what the player can actually, affect. Be interesting. And I guess the question becomes, when maybe it is a war. So maybe victory is surviving whatever is the equivalent of the 1-year war. PCN goes in next. There's N. Actually, a bunch of them. We need N, we need M, and we need H. All of which are oriented very specifically. Okay, let's see here. So N goes in here, and it's pointing downwards. Whoops, if I can hold on to it. There we go, PCN. PCM, which is going to be like that. Okay. And then PCH, which is going to be pointed, yep, that way. Okay. I think we got it. Okay. Yep, that looks right. There's that. And then we need A16 and A7, which is a hand. Where are we? 16. And did they say 7? Yeah, A16. It's kind of the hand guard. 16 and A7. Yep. Okay. Raven effect. Yes. Battle Athlete's Victory. What was it that made you get sports? That's a great question. So, the thing about that show is that the main character is involved because her mother won this ridiculous. So for those not familiar, Battle Athlete's Victory is an anime series set in the year 4999, if I recall correctly. It's not that different from now, oddly enough. And they have managed to stave off war with the institution of this yearly competition, I think it's yearly, called the Cosmo Beauty Competition. It's basically an Olympic sport. So imagine kind of a Miss Universe pageant, but where the girls all have to compete in every sport you can think of. Swimming, running, bicycling, all that stuff. And so the main character, again, and they're pretty much all teenagers. Teenage girls. And they're all part of this big competition. It's televised. And the thing is, Akari, the protagonist, has no confidence. Almost no self-confidence. And she's doing this, in a sense, because she wants to get better. She wants to be a better person. But she's kind of middle of the pack when it comes to any of these options. And she's just very low self-confidence. So she gets some friends who helps her through that. But it is in these competitions, it is in these moments of dealing with the frustrations of the competition and how that causes her, B10, get a B10, how that causes her to think about how to improve herself. Every single sport she's part of, I mean, it is part of the competition. And, you may have a body capable of excelling in a couple of sports, but not so much in others. You have to suddenly realize, oh, I better get better at this, at swimming, for example. And so seeing how she pushes herself in that, and how she works very hard to improve. A1. To improve is very inspiring. And also seeing how other people react to that, seeing how other people find that competition exciting and something to cheer for. Because it's not about the team, it's about the person. It's about watching an individual get better and overcome her own demons, if you will. You know, it's a more pure version of sport, in other words, compared to, you know, giant teams. Alright, and then this goes like that. And then this goes like that. Nice. And then this goes like that. Okay, so there's our right arm. Nice, a lot of range of motion there. Very cool, very impressive actually. Doo-doom. Feels small. Yeah, exactly. For me, I respect it now. I'm not good at sports, and I don't particularly follow any sports team or anything like that. But I grok it on that level. So we start with a B21 and a B23 for the other arm. And it's also just a well-crafted story about a group of people all on this road. And the thing about it is, and it is one of the interesting things about the show, you know, legitimately, they're going to defeat each other. Like, only one girl can win. So, you know, they form friendships, but those friendships are ultimately, you know, very much tested by the fact that at some point, girls get defeated and drop out, and that's very hard. And PCI. All these little bits of dust that get in the air. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. This goes outwards. Okay. That one definitely impressed me. So there's that. B18 and B20. Let's not kill myself or cut myself. What made you realize your fondness for Lane isn't what it once was? Quite simply watching Lane and then watching Tenchi. You know, after watching... Alright, enough of this. Sorry. You know, I had gone through a good chunk of Serial Experiments Lane, then I almost immediately after that I watched the original Tenchi Muyo OVA, and I realized I am enjoying myself watching the Tenchi OVA in a way that I did not while watching Lane. Very different experience. Again, I'm still impressed by Lane, but it just, that sense of joy was very different. And I realized, you know what? Right now, I would rather watch Tenchi than Lane, which means Lane is no longer my favorite anime of all time. Because people change. And that's good. And for the longest time, I always told people, you know, Lane's my favorite anime, and then everything else, my brain doesn't really work in the sense. My brain doesn't really pick favorites in that sense. Lane was just head and shoulders above everything else. And so, not having a quote-unquote favorite actually made that easier. Because I could say, okay, now it's just everything's equal. Not equal, but I don't really have anything. I don't really have a favorite anymore. Alright, so this one we have here. And we have our top guy. And we have our middle guy, which is oriented that way. And then we have this, which is oriented that way to snap into that little spot. And then we close that up. Good. Okay. And then we do... Alright, A8 and A17. Doing the hands now. So I'm a much more democratic anime fan now than I was. 8, A17, there it is. Yeah, I don't have a favorite anymore. There is no replacement. They're just all... I like different anime for different reasons. Good example, this season, I was watching, was it Katana Girls? The girls with samurai swords fighting each other. And then I watched, was it, the camping anime, Laid Back Camp, I think is the name of it. And I can't say if I like one of those more than the other. They're just too different. And they're trying to do different things. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, that anime sucks. The other one's much better. They're just different. Alright, so there's the beginnings. So there's a fist. Oh, one or the other. So I can do either a fist or... Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish A19 and A6. Alright. And A6. 6. Open hand. Pretty cool open hand, too. Super Robot Wars 5 for PS4 Vita. English sub is well translated from what I heard. It starts with Battles of Yamato and you see Gundam at the same timeline. Awesome. So here's a question. Is that available, like, can I just get that like off the PlayStation Store? Super Robot Wars 5? Or am I going to have to do backdoor shady deals, so to speak? Yeah, this is that hand. I don't know if you can see that, but it's incredibly detailed. Really cool. Alright, so we put our backing on it. I think we do it this way. No, oh, whoops. There we go. There we go. That goes there. So I think we'll start with closed fist. And we need B10 and A1. Do I wish I hadn't rewatched it? No, certainly not. No, that's like asking if I wish I didn't have more information about myself. I'm absolutely glad I watched it because I learned that I have outgrown that show in a sense. It's a very good thing. I'm not much of one for holding on to nostalgia in that way. A1. And I also think it is useful for people to go back and rewatch a thing and be able to appreciate what we saw in it early in our lives. Like I go back and I watch Voltron, which was my favorite cartoon show, my favorite show. I didn't know it was anime. But you know, I watch it now and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch dozens of episodes of this anymore. Like I'm not as obsessed as I was as a kid. You know, it is very formulaic and repetitive. But I understand why I liked it when I was 8. Right? Like I get that. I'm not looking down on my 8-year-old self for loving this show. I'm just different now. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, let's assemble this. So then this piece goes like there, I believe. Yep, and this piece goes like that. Yep. And then this piece goes like that. And then we pop on our fist. Like I said, we'll start with the closed fist and move on from there. Okay, there's our arm. Making some progress here, folks. Getting darn close. We're over halfway done. In no time at all. Super Robot Wars 10 is coming out this year. Awesome. I may look for that. You can order it from sites. Got lucky local game store had it sold to me cheap. Oh, Super Robot Wars V as in victory. Gotcha. Good to know. And I'm assuming the other one is Super Robot Wars X, not 10. Gotcha. That's right, because I remember hearing different titles, and it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'll look for it. It may not be on the it may not be a digital download, but maybe I can find. I'll look on the PlayStation Store, see if they have any of the Super Robot Wars on there. If not, I'll try to just find a copy, like you say. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to play. Can you stream Super Robot Wars? Because that'd be awesome to stream. I kind of like to stream everything now. Now that I have the option to stream it, I like to stream everything. All right, so A10. This is going to be more of the body, I believe. I think we've got the crotchular region at this point. Yeah, I think nostalgia can be a crutch. Well, and it's especially these days when we are not hurting for content. You know, if you realize, oh, I can't go back and watch that show I loved 10 years ago. Well, there are dozens more for you to watch now. We are not at all hurting A5 for more stuff. And it's good to change. Right? One of the best things about humanity is our ability to take in new information and evolve as people. It can be hard. Like, I know there are shows coming out right now that people absolutely adore, and I don't. PCA. Because I've seen lots of other shows like it. You know, it is a formulaic show, and they haven't seen all of those. So, they don't see it as formulaic. And I just can't explain that, right? I just can't sit there and say, well, I can't formulate why it's uninteresting without like sitting them down and showing them 5 other anime series that already did that. Right? And it's not necessarily bad to repeat formulas. It's just in these cases there are often shows where it's like, yeah, but it's exactly like those other shows, right? So that can be a problem. Okay. So yeah, it looks like we're getting definitely looking waste-like here. B14 and B15 now. B14 and wait, this is A. B4. Okay, nice. Side panels. The Asian version for the subs. Yeah, so that's the thing. You know, there are certain games like Gundam Versus. They won't let you stream it. Like you start playing it and you pull up the broadcast menu and they say this is not available for streaming. So I just want to make sure that there's no weird blocks like that. Because I'd be streaming Gundam Versus. Oh boy, if I could. Probably the reason I'm not playing Gundam Versus a lot is I can't stream it. And like half the fun of this game would be sharing it with people and showing other people what it's like to play it. Oh well. So Raven asks about Tenchi Muyo. Let me pop this on first. So this, alright. And this goes here. Yep, front plate and back plate. So yes, Gundam Tenchi is the first harem, but that's one of the interesting things about it is because it was the first harem. It's not like a lot of the harem shows we get now. The main character, Tenchi Masaki, is a seemingly normal high school teenager in modern Japan, although modern, I mean, it came out in 1990 or 91, I think, so. But he has this A13. He ends up getting in the midst of a bunch of crazy alien girls who all end up living with him. But the thing is, they are all super powerful. Like, one's a space pirate, one's an alien princess, and they all have these crazy powers. And while he does have some innate powers, they're much less powerful than they are. And they can all handle themselves in battle very well. So Tenchi often comes in kind of at the end of a lot of the combats to kind of deal with a main villain who's kind of gunning for Tenchi. But it's not one of those things where, you know, the main character is the special guy with the sort of god-ending power, and all the other girls suck compared to him. It is very much, they're all, in many ways, much stronger than he is. Partly because he hasn't come, you know, he hasn't figured himself out yet. So it doesn't feel like what we're used to with these sorts of concepts. Where's A13? There it is. And so the cool thing is it's sci-fi action. It's kind of a science fantasy action in a sense. Because it's very weird science fiction. People have these tree-based spaceships. And these giant sort of galaxy-spanning things, and people with ridiculous powers. One of the concepts is, if we truly have big spacefaring civilizations and some ancient civilizations, they're going to have science that is indistinguishable to us from magic. Right? It's just going to be insane. So we're not even going to try to kind of explain to you how it works. It's just weird. Kind of godlike. Okay, so I'm going to make sure this is oriented right. So we have this, and then this goes down like this onto that. Oh, like that. And then we pop that onto this. Okay, good. So there's that. Got our backpack. So Gundam, so Tenchi is, it's comedy, it's action, it's a little bit of romance, although very, very little. It's really, the romance is more the girl's interested in the guy. But that's typical for harem. But it is much more action-y than your typical harem series. And again, you have all that fun sci-fi adventure stuff too. Whereas a lot of other harem series tend to be much more literally down to earth, much more prosaic, much more about just a bunch of girls living with a guy. This is much more action-y, and Tenchi does do a great job of having a lot of different things going on. So we need B2, that backpack. So yeah, I love Tenchi because it has a lot of different elements all going on at once. And because Tenchi has just a really cool personality. You know, it's so typical in harem series to make the main character weak-willed and kind of a wallflower. And Tenchi's not a wallflower. He is young and inexperienced, and he's kind of overwhelmed by all these girls living with him. But he definitely has a personality. And that's one of the things I really like about it, is that your main character is not generic. It's funny, I've been watching these, or reading these posts from back in the day, from 20 years ago, and all the people just kind of rolling their eyes at Tenchi Muyo for Tenchi just being kind of a, not a strong male character, and it's like, you just wait. You think that's not a strong male character? Oops. Just wait till you watch some of these moe shows. Or some of the later harem shows. Okay. So we need to pop these booster rockets into the backpack. There's one. Always liked these. Yep, there's one there. Cool. Pop that on the back. There we go. And then we're going to make a head. I'll form the head. B. If someone wasn't into harems, what would they get out of Tenchi Muyo? I would say that sci-fi adventure stuff. I mean, it's a harem in concept only, if that makes sense, where, you know, the girls are not trying to get in bed with Tenchi. They're not, you know, the show is not about the girls being in love with Tenchi, although a few of them are. It's about the, you know, episodic adventure stuff that they get into, and all that stuff. I think that's a lot of the appeal. B12 and B13. And the comedy. I mean, it's a fun show. But it's definitely more of a science fantasy adventure series than it is harem or anything else. Depending on which version you see. Now, for example, the first Tenchi TV series is very much that. The second Tenchi TV series has a lot more comedy in it. So it depends. A lot more comedy. Good. Something more down tempo. Let's go with tempo. Streaming Super Robot Tyson for Super Nintendo. I have no idea how I would hook up my Super Nintendo. How I would stream Twitch off of my Raspberry Pi. Had I not watched Tenchi, do you think Love It for Anime would ever become what it has? No way of knowing. That is an unknowable thing. A23. Where's 23? Ooh! Nice. Clear plastic. Clear blue plastic. That's cool. Just try not to screw it up. That. Always loved clear plastic. Looks so interesting. Yeah. I mean, there are so many different things. So many different impacts on one's life. I mean, I was pretty interested in anime at that point. So I think something would have connected. But it might have taken longer. Who knows? All right, there's our head. It's cool little blue glass thing there. Just pop that right on the thing. There we go. There's our head. Now for the shield. We're almost done, if you can imagine that. So we're going to take the front of the shield. Looks like. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Cheap capture card with AV and S-video ports plugged into the USB. Well, I have an Elgato, actually, so I'd have to install all the emulators here. B5. But yeah, that's certainly a possibility, is to install some emulators here on this PC and stream from that. I will investigate. Do some retro gaming, dig into that. The thing is, I want to really dig deep into those, you know, really do some analysis, and I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, A22, which is the awesome little yellow cross there in the middle of the shield. Really neat that you get that here. It's absolutely ridiculous, but hey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game capture is not going to be compatible with Raspberry Pi. It might be, though. It is an HDMI export. Maybe it is. I'll try at some point. That'd be interesting. Let's see here. Okay, so obviously this goes in here. And then, well, actually, I guess we put this on like that, so it actually fits. Where does it go? It goes there. Okay, so there's that. Yep. And then there's that. Cool. There's our shield. And then we're going to attach some other stuff to it with PCL, or PEL, I guess. EL. Attached to A3 and A4, which forms some kind of a... I guess that's the shield holder. Thanks, WebFox. Can I explain the moe genre? It is fundamentally cute-looking innocent girls being cute and innocent. That is fundamentally what it is. The idea is that there are a lot of lonely young men. I'm being a little over the top in that description. There are a lot of, you know, late teen to young adult men watching anime. And if they're gonna watch it, if they're gonna watch anime characters, and they're gonna watch male characters, female characters, young characters, old characters, they would rather watch cute young girl characters, right? So you're going to have some cute young girl characters in your show. And with moe, that became kind of accentuated to the point where the show is just all cute young girls. And by young, I mean, you know, teenagers, roughly. And then, you know, further beyond that, so moe became this term to describe this particular approach they were taking with moe, whereas when a moe character is not just cute, a moe character is meant to evoke a sense of protectiveness, I want to be that person's protector, that person's defender, that person's boyfriend or girlfriend or what have you, because you can have there's also a bishoujo, or not, bishonen games where it's kind of the same thing with boys, but the idea that you want to be there for that character, right? You're eliciting that sort of response. It's not just physical attractiveness. It's trying to get an emotional response out of the viewer for that character. And that's the appeal of moe. And it's kind of evolved into this kind of subgenre where you can absolutely have a moe character in an anime series that is not a moe series, right? You can have those attributes in a character in a mecha show or a shonen series or what have you. You know, Lin Minmei in original Macross, I believe, is a moe character. That was her role in that show, despite the fact that that term didn't really exist yet. But that is kind of the idea and where they tend to go with that concept. A3 and A4, so there they are. There's A3 and A4. Yep, that's definitely the handle for the shield. It's pretty cool. Exactly. Moe wants to evoke an emotional reaction. Now, there may absolutely be a certain amount of sexiness there. You know, you can combine the two, but it's uncommon. Or it's not the point. It's not central to the appeal of the character. It is making you feel like that girl needs my help, and I should jump into the show and help her. That is ideally what they want you to feel for those characters. And, you know, that can be combined with other fun concepts. So K-On! Being one of the stereotypical moe shows, it's also about laid-back high school life and belonging to a club that doesn't really get anything done, right? So you don't have to want to be any of those characters, you know, boyfriend to enjoy that show. And they certainly were not building that show under the assumption that everyone would want that, so to speak. but it would certainly help. Alright, so how does that work? That is just... Alright, so we're just going to put that in there and use that to hold this in. Alright. Ideally. Come on. Doesn't want to work. Would it? Doesn't fit. What's the wrong thing? PCL? Is that a PCL? PCL. Oh, I may have the wrong... Okay, I think I have the wrong thing. Gotcha. Going in the wrong way. The wrong direction. Yeah, so I mean... In a lot of ways, Moe is just a thing. You know, it's not a... Not meant to be... Oh, I see. I see. So that's there, so we need that to be oriented that way, so that'll fit in there. Dang it. Okay, one sec. We need to put that, so that goes in there, and then this goes here. I see, and then I can fit that in to there. Okay, there we go. So that's now popped in. Alright. Needed to be put on in that order. Then our gun, A11 and A12. A11 and A12. And the important thing to me about Moe is that it is essentially an attribute of a female character. The danger with Moe, if you will, comes when the show spends all of its time focusing on trying to make these characters seem, you know, cute and or unable to kind of handle their own lives or what have you, and has no other plot. Then it gets a little boring, you know, and then it's clearly there to sell merchandise around that character. I mean, not that they don't want you to buy merchandise around every character, but you know, you could certainly argue that magical girl characters are Moe, because they have those attributes, right? A14 gets popped onto that. A14, there we go. End of the barrel. How old are Moe characters typically? It depends, but most of the ones I've seen are high school age. That said, there is a tendency to draw them much softer and much younger looking. And that's not, you know, to make everyone feel like they're a lolicon. It is there partly because of a desire for cuteness. Because there is a, that is kind of a visual style thing, where you draw things softer and more round, you know, a more rounded face looks cuter. And that's what they're going for with these characters typically, is trying to make them look cute. Why isn't that going on? Am I putting it on the right way? Only go on one way? Only goes on one way. Alright, fair enough. So there's that little blaster pistol. Then we are going to put on... we need B16, which is a beam saber. Not pulled out. And I notice I don't have a beam saber here. That's sad. B16. There it is. Which is totally not a lightsaber. Yeah, there's one anime series I was watching recently from this season where I was like, these characters all are wearing, like, you know, school uniforms, but they're all drawn, like, they really look like they're in grade school. You know. None of the girls have developed at all, for one. And it was just kind of weird. Right, yep, that's where that goes. There's the beam saber. And then the shield goes here, and they were saying something about you may need to rotate something. Like that. Or, oh, I see. Yep, it goes down like that to be in proper position for the shield. Or you can put it on the arm, but I think we'll keep it back. Well, no, I like the idea of having it on the arm. So let's attach it to the arm. Do they both have a little? They both do. I think typically the shield. Well, let's see here. Does the box show us one way or the other? Where is the shield typically held? On the left. Yeah. Okay. So we will put the shield on the left. This fits right there, and in fact, we'll go ahead and put that that handle on the arm. That's cool. Alrighty. And then I think I am missing the epaulettes on the arms. What am I missing there? Where are those? I see them there, but they're not on the instructions that I can see. All those go together. Ah, there we go. A24. A24. Where are you, A24? There you go. Let's try to put it on the right. Yeah, I do not see a beam here anywhere. Sadly. Just the handle. Check the box. I am only seeing... Oh! There it is. You're right. It's just it's not a clear beam. Interesting. First time I've seen that. I'm used to the higher grades. Interesting. No idea what color I'd paint that to make it look, you know, beam sabery. Don't want to just be flat yellow, or even a glossy yellow. All right, so we have the epaulettes. Did I need to sand those down? They're not epaulettes. They're basically shoulder guards. Okay. And they're saying you can use these either way, doesn't matter. So that pops on there, and that pops on there. Surprised they showed putting the shield on first. Maybe that was just saying, well, you could do it that way. It wasn't a practical suggestion. So there's that, and then this goes on here, ideally. All right. Legs get popped on. Leg gets popped on. Okay. There's that. And then he should be wielding... Oh, no, we're still not done yet. B35 and B36. Oh, yeah, those side panels. The sort of hip shields. And Gundams are basically traditional samurai armor in space. So you see this a lot. Yeah, this must be an older kit. I wonder if it says. I'll check the box here in a second. Oh, actually. Oh, no, good, good. It doesn't matter which one you put on which. They're not. One way or the other. Whoop! Whoa! Okay. Side panel 1. Side panel 2. I love how easy it is to move this figurine, this model kit. Okay, and then, like I said, oh, that, okay, I'm going to have to redo all of this. It's all a mess. It's all, yeah. Shield is not properly positioned. Okay. This goes there. And then this, if I can hold on to it, it goes onto this, but below, like that. Is that correct? Yep. And this gets popped onto that in the middle. So then I can put this here. Although in this case, I think I need to rotate it. Yep. So then the hand can hold on to it. There we go. Alright, and then he's going to hold the gun. There we go. No beam saber. But yeah, I do believe we've got our guy. And of course, I can swap that out with the beam saber. GM for life. Alright, this is HG 2001. Bandai 2001, made in Japan. So this is a, gosh, 15-year-old kit. A little more than that. But it works just fine. So there's my GM. Like I said, what I'm going to plan to do is basically do a, is there a way? That's a little loose. How many other options do I have hand-wise? I think that's about it. Alright, so there's, I did see another hand here, which they are claiming is a little better for the gripping the gun. So let me try that. Do I have to disassemble the other one? Maybe. No, I don't think so. That is A18, yeah, okay. And A9, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the other fist and see if that's better. That's true. This might just be a more modern printing with the same... But you'd think they'd update the copyright number, or the copyright year on the bottom, right? Possible. Possible this is just the 2001 era kit. 18, A9... And those should just pop together from what they're saying. Yeah. Oh, but it's a right hand, which makes sense. It is not. Oh, there we go. Oh, I have to actually like close them together. All right. It's still a little loose, but it's better. So I'm gonna pop off this guy, put him in. And then the question is, do I want that or do I want the open hand? You know. I don't know, the open hand always feels a little weird to me. Never quite made sense to me why somebody would be doing this in battle, unless it's a very specific pose. So I think I'll go with the closed hand. Makes a little more sense. There's our GM. Oh, okay, that is the GM model. They haven't updated it. It's just the same thing. All right, fair enough. So yeah, at some point I may go back and spray this up and get a slightly more appropriate color scheme on the GM. We will see. But I'm pretty darn happy with that. That'll go up on the shelf. He has a pretty good amount of flexibility and movement. No complaints there. Very typical for a Gundam model kit. Impressive for a high grade. I like it. I'm loving it. So like I said, my plan here is, and I'll show you guys a little bit more. Ow! No! Let me get all these guys out. Oops. Yeah. I'm fine. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble in addition to the GM, I'm going to have a couple of balls. But then, facing them will be, quite worryingly, 2 real grade Zakus. Got these recently. Even more worryingly than that is the real grade Char's Zaku 2. So we'll have a little diorama of a GM and a couple of balls being explodified by Char and a couple of Zakus. So I'll be assembling those over the next few months. And once that's done, I may very well sleep in this. I don't sleep in this. And that will be the plan. Let's see here. Get the Big Zam getting used at a Christmas tree. That's awesome. That's a great idea. I do not use stands. I probably will once once I get all these together, and I'll do that. And one of the other things too is, and I'll probably play around with the balls. Yeah. I'll try painting some of these things with like air spray at the local hobby store. See how that goes. Alright, I think that will do it for us for tonight. Thank you all very much for joining me. I'm just going to go ahead and save off this chat so I have all the stuff you guys so helpfully recommended for me. And I will check all that stuff out. I do plan on streaming some video gaming tomorrow night, Sunday evening. Not sure quite what yet. I have hooked up the Switch to the Elgato, but I have not been able to get the microphone working. And I have some options there, but I just don't know that. And it's not that interesting to just see the Twitch stream and not hear any other person, streaming it. So we'll see what I can do. Yeah, thank you all very much. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for that. And then the next Kitbash stream will be in 2 weeks. See you guys there.